was a game they said was meaningless. San Francisco didn't need it. The Bears' season was already over, but both sides played hard and hit hard today in San Francisco. But as we already knew, San Francisco is too good for this group of Bears, and they won the game handily. Hi, everybody, and Merry Christmas. Welcome to Bears Extra, and the Bears have gone away for 1989, and the players will have 6 straight losses to think about in the offseason. The last one, today's 26-0 shutout at San Francisco. It's all over, and it's awfully hard to swallow for some of the Bear veterans.
A pretty good football team. It's just stuff has been not going our way this year. You know, we lost some really close games, lost some games on close calls, lost some games on instant replay. I mean, it's just been, it seemed like everything that could go wrong went wrong for us this year, but you can't really make excuses. You just have, like I said, accept the fact that you didn't play very well and go from there.
It didn't take the 49ers long to get going today. Jim Harbaugh started at quarterback, and on the Bears' first possession, Don Griffin gets the interception. It set up a field goal. Harbaugh sums up 1989 like you would expect him to.
I'm not happy with the season at all, and I think we just need to get better, and hopefully we'll look back on this next year and have a great season, and it'll be funny then somehow. I don't know, but right, it's been very frustrating.
It was even more frustrating for Mike Tomczak. He started the season as the Bears starter and finished coming in for Jim Harbaugh today, throwing 2 interceptions. And after it was over, Tomczak looked at it this way.
Well, we're not going to let our errors be our undertaker, by no means, and we're just going to let our errors be our teacher. And I think everyone's going to have to rededicate themselves. You know, that's what it's all about. And we'll have to strike up a new model for next year, but we'll have all off-season to think of it.
The 49ers scored their first touchdown of the game late in the first half, and you knew that Montana and Rice would hook up for at least one. Jerry Rice with the catch there. This one makes it 13-0 Niners, and they get that one by air. And their other touchdown comes on the ground as Terrence Flagler runs into the end zone, 29 yards, almost untouched, and it was all over. Another bad defeat for the Bears in San Francisco. Their last shutout was out there in December of 1987 when the 49ers won at 41-0. This one was only 26-0. The Bears look ahead, and one guy that should have some good years here is safety David Tate.
This just wasn't our year. I think we never got the breaks. Today was indicative of the whole season. I think I'm just glad to get it over with and concentrate on next year.
You know, some people may say it's a relief to get it over. I think it's an ending and hopefully a new beginning so we can look forward to next season and getting back on track, doing the things that we've done the best for these past 4 or 5 years.
I guess the only highlight for the Bears was when Richard Dent became the Bears' all-time quarterback sack leader with 82, but we didn't see enough of that this year.
Sometimes you got to get slapped to realize where you were and where you can go. So, you know, I truly think we got knocked down very well, but now we got to get up and try another 15 rounds next year.
And hopefully the Bears will be a heavyweight when they crawl into the ring for those 15 rounds next year. The Bears have not had a season this bad since 1975. They finished with a 6-game losing streak. All of this is tough for Coach Mike Ditka to handle, and we'll see what he has to say about it. Mike Ditka with Johnny Morris coming up next on tonight's Bears Extra.
And I'm sure that's what Ditka's saying there. He's saying, look, Rice is the guy. Why is that safety looking inside? Safety has to know when he's out.
Bears Extra, sponsored in part by Old Style Light. Achieve total lightosity. Old Style Light. Your local Ford dealer. Quality people, quality products is a participating advertiser.
If you thought you'd opened all your gifts, think again. Because there's still one left, and it's waiting for you at your local Ford dealer. It's year-end clearance time, and that means you can pick from a huge selection of Fords and save big on every one, up to $3,400, or get 48-month, 4.8% financing on select models. So if you're looking for a new car or truck, your Ford dealer has America's best sellers, and they're all priced to go. It's for a limited time, so see your Ford dealer during year-end clearance and unwrap your new Ford today.
You did the laundry. Oh, man. And you got paid. You're an adult now. You know the 4 basic food groups. You'd like to talk, but you gotta go. Achieve total lightosity. Old Style Light.
Well, as you know, things did not go well today with the Chicago Bears. They lost to San Francisco. And, Mike, I would have to imagine that you're kind of glad the season is over and kind of forget this game and start over fresh.
Well,
You know, I guess that's one way to look at it. It's very disappointing. It's been a very disappointing year. It's been hard on everybody. It's been hard on the fans. It's been hard on the coaches, the players, our families. You know, anybody that wants to see good things happen, it hasn't been a good year for us. So, you know, what do? You can anguish about it, you can cry about it, or you can go back to the drawing board and make it work. You know, we hit bottom today, and usually when you hit bottom, you got to bounce, and we'll bounce back, and we'll come back. I think we. I don't know if there's not one answer. I think there's a lot of answers, but we'll go out and try to find whatever they are, John. You know, there were some comments today that, hey, that you still might not be back next year. You're coming back, aren't you? You want to come back.
Well, I think everybody knows more about my situation than me. Well, you know, my situation is that I want to coach the Bears next year. I intend to. I don't think that that'll change. But I want to coach the Bears to a winning season next year. And I think that we have to do whatever it takes to put ourselves in the best position to win, personnel-wise and otherwise.
You know, as long as I've known you, you've always you liked challenges. You liked it when you had it tough. This is going to be the toughest you've had it, probably, as a head coach.
This is tougher than when I came. There's no question about it now, because somewhere along the way, but I think the one good thing is the players are still, they got a taste of what it is to get your butt kicked, and that's a bad taste to have in your mouth. And I think they'll dispel that in a hurry, and they'll bounce back for that reason alone. But we are young. You know, people say we got 27 first, second, and third-year players. That's fine. Next year, those guys will be second, third, and fourth-year players, plus the other young people. But that's no reason you can't get the job done, John. And I think those people with more experience and understanding what it's going to take to do it, hopefully that's going to help our football team. By position, I don't know. I think there probably will have to be some changes. I don't know. You know, I can't sit here and talk about the quarterback position. I got to look at the film. I don't know what the heck was going on totally out there. So we'll find out.
You know, on the quarterbacks, I know you react every time I ask you about the quarterbacks, but Mike McCaskey said earlier this week that, you know, that the team is probably not going to try and get another quarterback because they feel secure with these two. How can the team feel secure with the two? I'm not knocking them. I'm just saying, you know, they may come in progress. You can't feel secure, though.
Well, it depends on, you know, I guess a lot of things. I think maybe he's speaking totally from what he feels right now, and you know, I think we have to talk about that. I think that's only realistically, we've always tried to stay on the same page about where we were going with this club and the direction we were going, the personnel we had. But, you know, it's a funny thing in life. A lot of people get their nose bent out of shape, you know, when you criticize a player that supposedly is their player and not the other guy's player and this and that. And I don't like to see that happen. All I'm trying to do is what's best for the Bears. And I thought that was the whole idea of this whole thing. So if it's best for the Bears that we make a change, then we should make it. If it's not, and we really decide that and we go forward in that direction, then I think we drop the subject and go forward with it, and we live and we die with whatever happens. And that's the end of it. The results will be the bottom line, whether we have success with it or not. But to sit here and analyze right now before we go into the offseason and make that decision is wrong. And if Mike feels that way, then I think that feeling has to, you know, he has to convince me totally after I look at the film of the whole season, and if he does, fine. You know, I can't say anything about it because he is the owner.
You know, I was going to ask you, the specifics of this game are not that important, but like, was Lorenzo Lynch man for man on Rice on that play?
No, it was a double zone. And the tight end went down the middle. Free safety tried to split the difference, and of course you can't split the difference with Rice. But Lynch got no chuck on Rice at all. None, and he's got to get some on him, and he's got none. But there's a lot of people who don't get a chuck on Rice, so you know. But that was one thing. But you know, in that situation, and not to slight anything they were doing, but you know, if you're going to roll up to his side, but keep the safety in the middle end. Before he can tell the tight end to help his hand. But it's, you know, and I'm not knocking what we were doing, because I thought our defense played pretty darn good football for a long time. They hung in there with those guys pretty good.
Defensively, the philosophy on defense, you've mentioned, alluded to it the last 2 or 3 times. Is Vince Tobin, as far as you're concerned, going to be back? Is there going to be any changes in the assistant coach?
Well, there might be some changes, but I think Vince will be back, and I think Vince has done a good job. I mean, John, the record is proven. This is the first year our defense has fallen down. But we've fallen prey to the same old thing that hurt us before Vince was here. It was the big plays. Until you can eliminate big plays against your defense, you're going to have a problem. Now, yeah, we mix up zone, we mix up man, we mix up blitz. What else can you do? The only thing I think we do sometimes is maybe we do have too much. It's too much to learn. If we simplify and really get down competent-wise, the fronts and the coverages, we might be a little better with the young people we have. But we've had great success with that defense over the years. And today, I thought they played awfully well at times. At times we didn't play quite as good, but awfully well at times. That's philosophy-wise, yeah, I think that we have to learn to play techniques better. We don't play techniques very well in zone, I'll tell you that right now, and I think that hurts us. But other than that, I think we do a lot of other things very well.
Mike McCaskey mentioned that there's going to be a big meeting between you and him after the season was over in January to talk philosophy.
Well, I only have one philosophy. I told the same thing when Mr. Hallis hired me. My philosophy is to try to win. You know, if my philosophy doesn't meet with his approval, then he ought to get rid of me and get somebody else. It's that simple. I mean, I wouldn't want to dwell on that subject because to me that's a lot of rhetoric. Yeah. It's a lot of rhetoric because my philosophy is to win, and you can talk about anything you want to. And if, as I said, you know, we'll put our records for the 80s up against most teams. There are some teams that are better. There are some that aren't any better. So, you know, if they feel that what they need is a change, then they ought to make the change. But don't talk about philosophy, because I only have one philosophy. I've had it since the day I started playing football, and that was to do the best I could and play as hard as I could and try to beat the other guy on the line of scrimmage. And so if you do those things, you got a chance. If you don't, you don't have a chance, John. But the other, you know, the philosophy thing is...
Yeah, well, you talked about commercials. Hey, he's not going to... Maybe it might not be as good for Mike to do as many commercials as he did before.
Well, let me say something about the commercials, which also has evidently come up with somebody else.
They were done before season, right?
Everyone was. But yet we had players do some during the season, but I did mine in the off-season. But let me say this, and so everybody knows where I'm coming from. I did commercials during the season in 1985. Listen to me. During the season in 1985, I did commercials, and we went to the Super Bowl and won it. Now, let's put that back in their craw. So what I'm talking about, it's all rhetoric, John, and whether it doesn't matter who it comes from, it's rhetoric. Because, you know, I don't go out and solicit endorsements. And I think that I've been very fair with the people who have used me to endorse our products. I think I've done a good job for them. And I think I am a good spokesman because I'm honest. I'm not like a lot of these other people who want to give you a bunch of bull. So if people don't want to buy that, fine. And I can't argue with the people in Chicago who have all of a sudden fallen out of love with what we've done. I can't argue with the idiots here, but at least they know my name. I was glad to see that today.
Nobody threw anything at you or anything?
Well, they threw some good barbs at me. But,
well, you've been used to barbs over the years at any time. Mike,
the guy would have got his head in a urinal.
Everybody's gone, thank goodness. Final thoughts on what will you do next week and what will you do the following week? Will you go through game films of the whole season now?
Well, what I'm going to do is meet with some of the players next week. I'm going to start looking at the films from the beginning of the season on offensively, and then we're going to set some meetings with the defense. We're going to go in and do the same thing with the defense and see where the breakdowns came, but we think they came. If we can put our finger on something specifically, we'll do the same with the offense. We're going to find out what we do best, and we're going to stay with it and not worry about trying to copy what other teams do to a certain degree, because I think Bear football is a unique thing. Regardless of what anybody says or thinks, it was a unique thing through the 80s. It was tough grit. And I'll tell you what, if we get it back to doing that, it don't have to be pretty, it don't have to be fancy. If we can just get it back to that, I think we'll be okay, John. And that's what I'd like to see us do. But that's what I'll do in the next couple of weeks. There'll be some other things I'll do, because I'm going to take some time off.
And you'll hope that...
And I might even hit a golf ball.
Yeah, you'll hope
but I don't want to get anybody mad at me now. I hope I'm allowed to go golfing in the
You can play golf.
You better believe I am.
Are you concerned that the Bears will not match Neil Anderson's contract when he gets an offer?
It's a concern. It really is. It's a concern because, again, I don't control that. I'm the coach, and I think that everything has to be taken into consideration by the team and the owner, but yeah, it's a big concern. And I think Neil knows that's why he's testing the free market.
Last question. The receivers. You have some good receivers. You do not have the burner, and that, you know, this is a case where that's one thing that Willie Galt did for this team. Are you looking for a burner for next year?
Well, we would like to have more speed, but you tell me Wendell Davis can't get past people and catch the ball. And the same thing with
but you said you don't have a burner. I mean,
no, but I don't. But we, you know, they're good receivers. I mean, we don't have... they'll run with most receivers in the league. They may not run with Rice. They may not run with Galt. They'll run with most guys.
Okay. It's been a tough season. There'll be a better one next year.
You better believe it, John.
Okay,
Thank you.
Thanks a lot. Mike Ditka. Of course, Howard will be back with more on Bears Extra right after this timeout.
So Lindy Infante is just going to allow the clock to run out. And he gets the big dump of water from his team. And there's
If you thought you'd opened all your gifts, think again, because there's still one left and it's waiting for you at your local Ford dealer. It's year-end clearance time, and that means you can pick from a huge selection of Fords and save big on every one, up to $3,400, or get 48-month, 4.8% financing on select models. So if you're looking for a new car or truck, your Ford dealer has America's best sellers, and they're all priced to go. It's for a limited time, so see your Ford dealer during year-end clearance and unwrap your new Ford today.
This isn't an ad for a tropical vacation. This is an ad for Zenith's 46-inch projection television with a color picture that could only be called brilliant. If you've never owned a Zenith giant screen television, maybe now's the time to get your feet wet. Zenith. Quality.
We got the Toyota Camry because we both need a car with a lot of room.
Mrs. Martino has like about 10,000 suitcases full of junk she packs in their comfort trips.
When we travel, Pat and I both have a lot of stuff. But it's never a problem loading the Camry.
Mr. Martino has like about one suitcase this big, but he gets to drive.
I love what you do for me, Toyota.
If you're a sports fan in Gary, you'll find all the action on Channel 2. In Waukegan, they've got sports on tap at 10. We're a winner in Wheaton most any night. And we're as good as gold in Berwyn, too. More and more people are turning to Johnny Morris, Howard Sudbury, and Rich King for all the hometown sports. The 10 o'clock news on Channel 2. So tomorrow comes as no surprise.
With one game to go, the Christmas night game between the Bengals and Vikings will decide the last two playoff spots in the NFL, and 4 teams are still alive. One of them, the Green Bay Packers. The Pack finishes at 10-6 this year, and if you predicted that, you've got a great crystal ball. Great year for Green Bay at Dallas today. It wasn't easy at Texas Stadium. 10-3 Green Bay here. Brent Fullwood tried the reverse. He was hit. He fumbled. Jack Del Rio got it. He recovered and took off all the way to make a game of it. 57 yards, touchdown, and a 10-10 tie in the third quarter. The Packers rallied after that. Next possession, Don Mitkowski to Ed West for a touchdown. It was 17-10. They win 20-10, and the Cheeseheads are happy, even the ones down in Dallas today, and they're hopeful of a trip to the playoffs for the Pack. Tim Harris is going to make a trip to the Pro Bowl this year for the season he had. He gets to Troy Aikman there, and the Packers nail Dallas 20-10. The Packers finished their great season at 10-6, and now they wait. And Coach Lindy Infante says they're waiting and hoping for the best.
Big defensive star.
We don't get in unless Cincinnati wins. So we'll give the players Christmas Day off. We'll all go home and watch the game tomorrow night, and then we'll come back in Tuesday either ready to get ready to play a playoff game, or we'll come back in to say goodbye to everybody. And we certainly hope it's the fact that we're still in the playoffs.
The Packers almost to clinch the spot today. They needed New England to beat the Rams in that game. Jerry Gray with an interception, and he's straight to the goal line there. 10-3 Rams in New England. And a small crowd in New England included 4 bad-looking Santas right there, huh? The Packers team watched closely to see if New England could pull this game out, but on the last play of the game, Steve Grogan could not connect with Hartley Dykes. The Rams won it 24-20, and the Packers knew they had just one hope for the playoffs left, and that is tomorrow night. Cincinnati needs to beat the Minnesota Vikings in Minnesota. Now, Philadelphia is going to play the Rams in the NFC wild card game. Eagles over Phoenix today. Randall Cunningham goes out to the right, scrambles 14 yards for the touchdown, and the Eagles win big 31-14. The New York Giants won the NFC East by beating the Raiders 34-17. This is the play of the day in any game. Watch the tackles broken here by Dave Megan of the Giants on this punt return. He'll change direction, stay on his feet, and go 76 yards early in the game as the Giants win easily over the Raiders. Giants are back in the playoffs for the first time since they won the Super Bowl. That was in 1986, and Lawrence Taylor says, "We earned it."
Like true champions, we fought back. We beat some pretty good football teams in some very trying times, and I think we deserve to be the champions of the East.
Pittsburgh played at Tampa today. Vinny Testaverde on the sidelines today. He's out, and he watched Steelers quarterback Bubby Brister connect with Lewis Lips here. 79 yards on the touchdown. Lips breaks it down the sidelines. The Steelers win 31-22, and they are still alive for a spot in the playoffs. The Colts could have made the playoffs today, but they didn't even make a game of it down in New Orleans. How often do you see this? How often do you see it work? The Saints pull a reverse on a punt. Robert Massey, number 40, breaks free and almost goes all the way. He's dragged down finally as the punter stops him. It set up a touchdown. New Orleans wins 41-6. And in Atlanta, Neon Dion could even draw attention on the sidelines in an outfit like that. Detroit at Atlanta. Barry Sanders, another great day. 3 touchdowns, 158 yards rushing. Sanders is the NFC rushing title winner. And Detroit wins the season, or finishes the season, with 5 straight wins. They passed the Bears in the final standings. And in the scoreboard today, the games we didn't show you just now, San Diego over Denver. But Denver had already wrapped up everything, including the home field. And 2 teams that are out of it for the playoffs, Kansas City over Miami. Final score in Miami, 27-24. And now the playoff situation in the NFL, with spots still up for grabs tomorrow night. In the NFC, these are the divisional winners. The Giants clinched by winning today over the Raiders. They win the NFC East. In the Central, it depends on what happens tomorrow night. It's either the Packers or the Vikings. Minnesota has to win tomorrow night to make the playoffs. And San Francisco, of course, the winner with home field clinched for the entire, as long as they last in the NFC. Wild card game in Philadelphia next week. The wild card will be Philadelphia and the Los Angeles Rams, the teams with identical records. Now in the AFC, first of all, the divisional winners. In the AFC East, Buffalo was the winner. Cleveland won the Central. And in the West, Denver, the champion there. And they have home field throughout the playoffs as long as they last. The wild card, Houston has 1 spot clinched already. It'll either be Pittsburgh or Cincinnati, depending on what happens. If the Bengals win tomorrow night, they're in. If they lose at Minnesota, the Pittsburgh Steelers, believe it or not, would make the playoffs. So the NFL playoffs begin with the wild card games next Sunday, New Year's Eve. And we will wrap up the 1989 NFL season in a minute with some of the good on and off the field. And that's coming up next, right here on Bears Extra.
Will the next person that sees anybody throw anything onto this field, point them out, begin.
The Proctor National Bank is closed for the holiday.
You have reached Lucci Plumbing. I am indisposed at the moment.
Ever try to get help on a holiday or a weekend? It's nearly impossible, unless you're calling one very special number. GE Answer Center may help you. 24 hours a day, even holidays, GE's Answer Center is there. Whether you're thinking of buying a GE appliance or already own one.
My son just put marbles in the ice maker.
Don't worry, ma'am. The GE Answer Center never closes.
At Salosi Edelson Chevrolet and Geo, we have over 500 trucks ready for immediate delivery.
And you can buy this S10 pickup for this very low price.
Or this S10 Blazer for this unbeatable price.
And remember, we guarantee you that you can't beat our price on any new car or truck, or we'll give you back the difference in cash.
At Salosi Edelson Chevrolet and Geo in Elmhurst at York and Roosevelt Roads, where you always save more money.
It's a celebrity Christmas on Entertainment Tonight in a very special Hollywood kind of way.
Hello, now tell me your name.
We've got the heartwarming inside story on the stars whose generous contributions are helping to make this a better Christmas for everyone.
If I could just contribute a little bit, it makes me happy, and hopefully it makes them happy.
It's an extra special inside story chock full of Christmas cheer, and the only place to see it is on the next Entertainment Tonight.
Monday at 6:30, only on Channel 2. In Lockport, they're keeping a watch on Channel 2. In Chatham, we're the first choice for a last word on the day. We're right at home in Aurora, too. And they're turning to us every night in Hammond. More and more, people are turning to Bill Curtis, Linda McLennan, Walter Jacobson's Perspective, Johnny Morris, and Steve Baskerville. The 10 o'clock news on Channel 2. So tomorrow comes as no surprise.
And now the real NFL season. The real important part will begin. It will begin without the Bears for the first time since they sat out of the playoffs in 1983. And like any NFL season, it's been interesting, from the great plays to the personalities that make up the game. CBS Sports put this season wrap-up together, the NFL 1989.
Leon drifts to the left, takes it on the 32, drops it. Picked it up, one man missed him, another man missed him. Now he's going wide off to the right. Leon to the 25, to the 30, to the 35, the 40, the 45, the 50, the 45, the 40. My God, Deion Sanders is going to score! My God!
Quick pitch to Bo, trying to sweep the left side. Turns it up to the 10, 15, up the left side to 20. He's at the 30. Maybe nobody will get him. 50, 40. He's got a blocker. He's going to the 20, the 10. Touchdown Raiders! Bo Jackson! Holy Toledo!
aggravated? Yes, I'm aggravated because I don't remember feeling this bad in 1982 when I knew we couldn't play football.
You're all going to editorialize and pontificate, but I'm surprised some of the real experts aren't here today. The real pontificators.
Who are the real experts that concern you?
Nobody. Nobody concerns me in this room, believe me. We stink. We are absolutely an atrocious football team at this point right now. I doubt we have to play the rest of them, but there's no question in my mind that we will be fortunate to win one more game.
I would have said something to Buddy, but he wouldn't stand on the field long enough. He put his big fat rear end into the dressing room.
I have no respect for the man at all. And I don't think if his friend had known the club, he wouldn't be back next year, I'm sure, as a coach.
It's a beautiful day in this neighborhood, a beautiful day for a neighbor.
Will the next person that sees anybody throw anything onto this field, point them out, or get them out of here. You don't live in Cleveland. You live in Cincinnati.
Please won't you be my neighbor?
All right, and that does it for this week's Bears Extra. I'm Howard Sudbury. Have a Merry Christmas, and thanks for staying up late with us tonight on Bears Extra. Good night.
If you thought you'd opened all your gifts, think again. Because there's still one left, and it's waiting for you at your local Ford dealer. It's year-end clearance time, and that means you can pick from a huge selection of Fords and save big on every one, up to $3,400, or get 48-month, 4.8% financing on select models. So if you're looking for a new car or truck, your Ford dealer has America's best sellers, and they're all priced to go. It's for a limited time, so see your Ford dealer during year-end clearance and unwrap your new Ford today.
You've got an education. And you're comfortable with the technology. You know the thigh bone's connected to the hip bone. You keep an open mind. Baby, you've got a plan. Achieve total lightsosity. Old style lights.
Your local Ford dealer, quality people, quality products, is a participating advertiser of Bears Extra.